Oh, that's me. So this is a story of me. This whole presentation is about me, but it's really about all of us and how all of us can use social media to expand our lives and to make for a better life. So mine is mostly on Twitter, but this can apply to anything, even something as lame as Google+. So let's go back to the old days. My very, very first job in the web in Gloucester. There's nothing out there, but while I was there, I started using the interwebs to talk to other people, and it helped me get help when I got stuck on stuff. Eventually, the internet bubble burst, and I went away for a few years, about 5 years, till I moved down here to North Carolina. Took a job at McClatchy Interactive, which is a newspaper company. Very interesting, you can tell it's a very sexy company. While I was there, we started talking between the developers, core developers and web developers, and we did so through chat, through IRC. And soon we pulled in some of the other newspapers, and we would talk to web developers at other sites, and I thought, there's something to this, talking to people that I don't have to sit right next to and sharing ideas. It all seemed very exciting to me. That next year I read this book. If you guys haven't read it, it's good. It talks about a couple of things. One is how you know when it's time to quit and when you should continue on and push through. It helped shape some of my ideas. Then along came Twitter. I started using Twitter and Plurk at the same time. If you guys don't know Plurk, you're out of it. It's awesome. But that let me connect to people, once I got the hang of it, that were far-flung that I never would have been able to talk to in my normal social life. People on the other coast or other continents that are kind of above my pay grade. Eventually, I made it to an SEO meetup, and this is really where things started to bump up for me. It's Ashley Berman Hale, she started it. I came on about 6 months after she started it. When I started, there was about 8 or 9 people. We now get we got 109 people signed up for Marks later this month. 2009, I read this book, Tribes. Another great book. It talks about how you don't have to be the top dog to lead. You lead from wherever you are, because all you have to do is get the people underneath you to believe in you and what you're talking about to push forward. So I started blogging, because I was going to lead from my web development desk at McClatchy Interactive. I was going to change the whole effing culture of McClatchy newspapers. Started writing stuff that was eventually picked up by the Nieman Journalism blog, which is out of Harvard University, a bunch of journalism smarty pants, who were quoting my stuff. And all I was really doing was blowing off steam, because I hated our newspaper and I hated how they couldn't move any faster than they were, and they didn't get what was coming. Later that year, the guy on the left, not the two good-looking girls, but the guy on the left, told me something that stuck with me. He was running an interactive agency downtown, and he said, I was just interviewing some people, and it dawned on me right then, you're always being interviewed, whether you know it or not. Everyone you run into is deciding whether you're good enough to recommend or whatever. Internet Summit came around. I thought, all of these smart people are talking and attending. I need a way to find them all. So I started this Media Leaders thing, which was really just a way to meet people and make connections for when I got fired from the newspaper, because I knew it was coming. Newspapers were firing everyone. I eventually left the newspaper and went up to Hillsborough and worked for PHE, for Sinclair Institute. And this was our big thing that we sold. People were like, dude, you are going to go work for a porn company? And I was like, I don't care, because I get to do SEO and I'm not at that fucking newspaper. Totally owned it, went there, did good work for 9 months. And that whole time, though, I continued working and making connections and reaching out on Twitter. Took this to heart, but never eat alone. I started eating out, getting out as often as I could. So these people I would meet online, it was important to me to make the next step and have dinner with them, have lunch with them, kind of extend that network. Got hired on at Media 2 a few months later. They actually made a position for me. Got to go to the next Internet Summit, which I did more at. The first one I was watching, this one I was live blogging for Media 2. Went to like 20 different sessions, live blogged the shit out of that thing. Got thousands of reads, got on the radar of people that I'd never met before, who were interested in what I was writing about and the style I was writing. And they start poking through your LinkedIn and everything else to find out who you are. This was good for me to have to blog because I had to blog. I was going from one to the next, to the next, to the next with my extension cord, getting it all done. I left Media 2, went on to Capstrat, where they did this post-it thing to make cool designs. Each step along the way, from Sinclair to Media 2 to Capstrat, and eventually here, I'll get back to that. So by 2011, I went to Internet Summit. I was asked to be a speaker there. All of this really came from this social networking that I was doing, building out that brand so that I could move on. And the interesting thing is, ever since I left McClatchy, I've never sent a resume out for a job. The jobs have always found me, and that's much better than having to send your resume to be in the big pile, is to be in that small pile of, hey, do you know this guy? He's pretty good. And now I'm here, and I wanted to share that with the beautiful people of Ferrante, that take advantage of social media. It really can change your life.